Governor Patrick Morrisey today provided an update on SNAP benefits for West Virginia citizens. A local food pantry in Parkersburg is seeing a sharp increase in demand. Many new faces are showing up after the recent cutoff of SNAP benefits. Meteorologist Jason Livia has your forecast, and Griffin Albright joins us in sports. WTAP News at 11 starts now.
Live from our studios at One Television Plaza, this is WTAP News at 11.
The unofficial results from today's general election in Ohio are in. Good evening, and thank you for joining us this election day. I'm Phyllis Smith. Before we dive into that election coverage, meteorologist Jason Livia joins us now with a look at your first alert forecast. Jason.
Well, Phyllis, it is another chilly evening here in the Mid-Ohio Valley, a little cooler at this point than we were originally expecting. It's around 40 degrees at the moment on the Highmark Skycam. Our cooling trend has slowed down quite a bit, and we are still at very calm winds around the area. Most of the region is still in those low 40s, but a couple upper 30s are appearing over towards the west. I'm expecting tonight we'll squeeze out an extra degree or two and cooling to about 38 for our low, still sticking with calmer winds throughout the night tonight, before we get into the warm and windy day tomorrow. 68 for the high, with winds between 10 to 20 miles an hour sustained. It will definitely be warm and windy on Wednesday, and we are watching for rain coming in at the end of the week. I'll have all the details on both of those things in my full forecast later on. So for now, Phyllis, back to you.
Thank you, Jason. We begin our coverage of election results tonight over in Washington County. You may have seen behind me. First, we have the Washington County Developmental Disabilities Board replacement tax. This levy was to help operate facilities for people with developmental disabilities. As you can see, voters decided to vote against this levy with almost 53% of the vote. New tonight, we reached out to the Developmental Disabilities Board Superintendent for her reaction to the levy failing. Washington County Developmental Disabilities Board Superintendent Tiffany Neal said she was heartbroken by the results. Neal attributes the levy's failure to the current climate surrounding property tax reform in Ohio. Neal has previously said that levy fund represents 2/3 of its total budget. Without those dollars, Neal says they'll have to make some challenging decisions.
We certainly have to focus on what the board's responsibility is, which is paying roughly 1/3 in Medicaid waiver match, which covers residential services, day programming. However, the alternate services that we provide that we're not compelled to do, we will just have to evaluate to see where they fit within our budget moving forward.
Neal thanked the voters who chose to support the levy. She said the board may attempt to get a levy on the ballot in May. We had another county-wide levy on the ballot for voters today. The Washington County Senior Citizen Services Replacement Tax levy will help fund things for seniors like Meals on Wheels, in-home care, prescription assistance, and counseling. Voters decided to pass this levy with over 58% of the vote. And new tonight, we are moving on to the race for Marietta First Ward seat. Jeff Schulteis unseated longtime incumbent Michael Scales in the race for Marietta's First Ward Council seat with just over 55% of the vote. Schulteis previously ran for council 8 years ago and has been a city employee for 7 years. Schulteis has said he spent much of his campaign going door to door, getting to know his ward's residents and listening to their concerns. According to Schulteis, he intends to maintain that personable approach to politics as a councilman, prioritizing community engagement over any overarching policy goals.
Everyone has, different problems throughout the city. And if I can help them, I will. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I worked in the city for 7 years. I know some of their problems, but I'm sure I don't know all of them.
Schulteis thanked his family and the many residents of Marietta's First Ward for their support. In the Marietta Council second ward race, we had Democrat Katie McGlynn, who has served on council previously, and Republican Janet Bond. McGlynn would take this race with nearly 70% of the votes. We'll move on to the fourth ward seat now. The race for that pitted Democratic incumbent Aaron O'Neill against lifelong Marietta resident and Republican Ron Wessel. In a tight race, Wessel takes the unofficial victory with almost 53% of the vote over O'Neill. Our Chase Campbell was at the Board of Elections office tonight as these results came in, where he had the opportunity to speak with unofficial fourth ward winner Ron Wessel. He joins us now live in the Digital Center. Chase, what did the unofficial councilman-elect have to say?
Thank you, Phyllis. Ron Wessel was at the Board of Elections office tonight as results came in. Wessel was elated to be named the unofficial winner of the fourth ward race. A longtime member of Marietta's business community, Wessel has said that as a councilman, he'd like to see the city run more like a business and focus on economic development. Looking ahead, Wessel shared some of his priorities as a councilman.
Harmer School is one of the most important things for Fourth Ward. The bridge is another thing. We need to get something going with the bridge. That's still out there. There's a lot of sidewalk repair and things that need to be done. There's a lot of things that haven't been done in the Fourth Ward for quite a while.
Wessel added that there's substantial infrastructure work throughout the city that he'd like to give attention to. He attributed his victory to hard work by a myriad of people who helped with his campaign, not least of whom was his wife, who Wessel says kept him sane and helped manage his campaign on social media. Wessel says he's eager to get started on his work as a councilman. Thank you, Phyllis. Back to you.
Chase Campbell reporting live in the Digital Center. Chase, thank you. Over in Belpre, 4 candidates were on the ballot running for 3 open seats on the Belpre City Schools Board of Education. As you can see, Molly Hott, Frederick Meredith, and Mike Miller were all running for re-election for their seats. Meredith, Hott, and Miller received the highest percentage of votes to unofficially claim the 3 seats. We'll head over to Marietta now. The 3 seats were on the line for the Marietta City School Board of Education for 5 candidates. Incumbent Cody Parman, Stephen Taylor Huffman, and Chris Fennell were the 3 highest vote getters and were able to take home the unofficial wins. And over in we have Fort Fry Local Schools. 5 candidates were on the ballot for 3 seats. Rodney West, Jonna Zalmanek, and Joe Prito were able to get enough votes to take the unofficial win for those 3 seats. And now we will head to New Matamoros. 6 candidates were on the ballot for 3 open seats on, actually it's the Frontier Local School Districts. We'll head over to Frontier. And in the end, it would end up being Maggie McConnell, Jean Marie Kearns, and Brenda D. Wilson taking the race for these open seats. Our Logan Ringabaugh is live from the Digital Center to talk about the outcome of the Ford Board of Education races. Logan, what can you tell us?
Thanks, Phyllis. We received the unofficial results for the Marietta, Fort Fry, Frontier, and Belpre Board of Education races. The 3 candidates who will fill the seats on the Marietta Board of Education are Cody Parman, Stephen Taylor Huffman, and Chris Fennell. Parman is the only incumbent in the race and is the board president. Fennell has worked in education for 2 decades. We were unable to contact Huffman prior to the election. The 3 candidates who will fill the seats on the Belpre Board of Education are Mike Miller, Frederick Meredith, and Molly Hott. All 3 candidates were incumbents and have served on the board with the purpose of improving Belpre City schools. The 3 candidates who will fill the seats on the Fort Fry Board of Education are Rodney West, Jonna Zalmanek, and Joe Prito. Zalmanek is the only incumbent out of the 3 and is in her 16th year on the board. West has children in the district and is dedicated to making Fort Fry a great place for students. We were unable to contact Prito prior to the election. Finally, the 3 candidates who will fill the seats on the Frontier Board of Education are Maggie McConnell, Jean Kearns, and Brenda Wilson. All 3 of the winners will be serving on the board for the first time. They would like to expand opportunities for scholarships, opportunities for special education, and accessibility for speech disabilities. For more election results, visit our website at wtap.com. That's all I have, Phyllis. Back to you.
Logan Riggenbaugh reporting live from the Digital Center. Logan, thank you. So we are going to head over to Marietta now for some of the emergency service levies. So there were 3 separate levies involving the fire department and emergency medical services on the ballot for voters. The first one was for the fire department, which was the 0.5 mil levy. The levy would help county fire departments with operating costs, insurance, workers' compensation, and help with equipment replacement. Voters decided to vote for the tax levy with 72% of the vote. Let's head over to the second one now. The next 2 levies both had to do with emergency medical services. The 1.0 mil levy would help give EMS in Washington County the ability to help with maintenance or replacing an ambulance. This levy was passed by voters with over 66% of the vote. Let's go now to the last levy for the Marietta Township. The 1.6 mil levy was voted on. This levy would have 2 medics clocked in 24/7. Voters decided to vote for this tax levy as well, with over 61% of the vote. And in our next race, we had 7 candidates vying for 4th seat on New Matamoros. So I think I may have accidentally gone to this one earlier. So let me try to find that quickly. So here we have New Matamoros Council. The 4 candidates with the highest percentage of votes were John K. Schmidt, Blaze Michael Amos, Shane Belleville, and Paul J. Spears to take the 4 seats. And now we will head over to Coolville, where they were deciding between 2 candidates on the ballot for the village's next mayor. It was Tiffany E. Rife Oman taking the unofficial win over Curtis Mark Rude with 62% of the vote. And now let's move on to the Meigs County Health Department renewal tax levy that was on the ballot. Voters decided to pass this levy with 57% of the vote. Staying in Meigs County, the 911 Services additional tax levy was on the ballot, and without the levy, Meigs County 911 would have had to cease operations. Voters decided to pass the levy with 55% of the vote, and Meigs County 911 will not need to shut down. We are still staying in Meigs County, the local school additional tax levy. If passed, this would help fund renovations to the school, replacement of buses, and renovations to the playground. This levy did not pass, as 56% of the vote was against it. We'll head now to Eastern local school bond issue and tax levy. This levy would help the school make necessary renovations. After the votes were counted, the levy did not pass with 54% of the vote. Results from today's Washington County Library levy election will not count due to an error with the application of the levy. According to Washington County Prosecuting Attorney Nicole Coyle, the error was due to the County Board of Commissioners not voting on the levy during the application of the levy. The error was not caught in time by the Ohio Secretary of State to fix it. Coyle anticipates the levy will be corrected for the election this upcoming May. Coyle added it is her understanding that Washington County libraries will not experience any interruptions during this time until the levy is up for election in May. Don't forget about going to wtap.com. The results of even more races, and if you need to see any of the races again that we had on air, are posted online for Athens, Meigs, Morgan, and Noble counties, and of course Washington County as well. Still ahead, West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey today provided an update on SNAP benefits. The governor visited the Step by Step Family Support Center in Charleston. That story is next at 11.
Windier weather returns tomorrow, along with warmer temperatures. The details next.
New tonight, Governor Patrick Morrisey gave West Virginia citizens a SNAP update this morning. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey visited the Step by Step Family Support Center in Charleston to give an update on SNAP benefits. The government is working with the National Guard and food banks to make sure West Virginians do not go hungry during the government shutdown and the SNAP benefit disruption. The state has already distributed $8 million to food banks and is planning to provide up to $14 million or more, according to Governor Morrisey. The National Guard is helping with the logistics of delivering the food throughout the state. Governor Morrisey said he is committed to making sure no West Virginian goes hungry.
Once we get to that 14 million, if we need to call the legislature, we will. Those are the facts, and I think that it matters a lot. I want to assure West Virginians we have your back. We're going to make sure that no one's going hungry.
Governor Morrisey said if you have an issue with food or have questions, call 211.
Now, here's your first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Jason Livia.
We're looking at warmer and windy weather coming into the Mid-Ohio Valley Wednesday, and it's not the only day that we're looking at that warm and windy conditions. If we look at the next 7-day temperature trend at the moment, Friday also joins that list in those upper 60s, following a cooler day on Thursday after a cold front passes through Wednesday evenings. What will also be added on Friday is a pretty decent chance for rain, and by pretty decent, I mean we're pretty confident that it's going to rain at least some point on Friday. There are also chances for rain over the weekend and early next week, and a very slim chance for some flurries on Monday. So looking into tomorrow morning, we'll have a warm front that comes through over the next couple of hours, which will halt our cooling process and start really reversing that as a cold front starts moving into the region from the west throughout the day on Wednesday. This will bring some windy conditions to the Mid-Ohio Valley. The cold front will quickly pass by Wednesday evening. Thursday will be quiet, and we'll see another cold front come through on Friday that will also bring some rain to the Mid-Ohio Valley, looking at about ½ an inch to a full inch of rain in total. Now heading into the weekend, Saturday we may see a couple showers in the morning. Sunday also seeing a couple showers, but Sunday night to early Monday morning there is the potential for some light flurries. Nothing that'll accumulate as it's looking a little too warm this week and the overnights for the next several days, but we could see at least some snowfall in the region. Now heading into this evening tonight, we're at about 40 degrees on the Jandil sky cam. Calm winds around the region, keeping us right where the temperature actually is for our feels like temperature. We're not expecting to see much of winds over the next few hours, but as we head further into tomorrow, could see some of that increase. Temperatures around the region mostly in the low 40s right now, apart from 37 over in Athens. Over the next 24 hours, we may get an extra degree cooler across the Mid-Ohio Valley before that warm front comes in and starts reversing our temperature trend heading through the rest of the night. We'll be a little bit on the warm side heading into tomorrow. It'll getting up into the upper 60s. We'll also see plenty of wind in the region with 10 to 15 mile-an-hour winds and gusts closer to about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Now for the rest of the week, we'll see that cold front come through Wednesday. That'll bring temperatures down to the mid-50s on Thursday before another system comes in Friday, bringing those warm, windy and rainy conditions to the Mid-Ohio Valley. That'll do it for weather. Back to you, Phyllis.
Thank you, Jason. Still ahead, a West Virginia food pantry is seeing a dramatic increase in families needing help. The Journey on Park Avenue in Parkersburg Church reports a doubling of people seeking food assistance. That story is next at 11. One food pantry in Parkersburg has been seeing a lot of new people come in since the cutoff of SNAP benefits. Our Peyton Brooker has more on this story.
One food pantry in West Virginia has been seeing an influx of people needing food due to the recent cutoff of SNAP benefits. The pastor at the Journey on Park Avenue in Parkersburg, Dr. Dave Robinson, says the amount of people they have seen has doubled this last month.
We were serving about 60 families, roughly 190, 200 people. In the last 30 days, we have gotten almost 100 families, almost 500 people coming through a pantry. It's at this rate, it is going to go very, very fast.
Parkersburg resident Morgan Chaka says because of her situation, SNAP benefits were something she relied on.
I am currently unable to work. I'm disabled, have been for about a year, and I'm trying to get on disability benefits. I have quite a few comorbidities and everything else that just makes it impossible for me to work. So I rely on food snaps as well as housing assistance. But food snaps is definitely something that I rely on to even eat most days.
Volunteer Joyce Patterson says she is helping out at the food pantry because she doesn't want to see children go hungry.
There's a lot of people that cannot make ends meet, and a lot of them have children, and my compassion is for the children, and I do not want to see a child go to bed hungry.
Robinson adds it is uncertain the food pantry will have enough food to help out families during the holiday season.
People are very worried. I mean, they're very worried about running out of food for their kids, and naturally so. But for this month, we're going to be okay, but we have got to be planning for next month and for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. There's always an extra influx of people for the holiday meals, and where that food's coming from at this moment, I don't have a clue.
This is Peyton Brooker in Parkersburg, WTAP News.
Coming up next, a local woman is making a big difference in her community, one box at a time. Find out how her simple idea is helping neighbors in need and inspiring others to give back. Next at 11.
Hey everybody, and welcome to WTAP Sports. Let's go to Peden Stadium in Athens for a prime-time matchup between OU and Miami of Ohio. Wear black, the theme for tonight, as the Bobcats look to give the Redhawks their first conference loss this season. Defensive slugfest in the first half as Chase Hendricks somehow brings in this pass from Parker Navarro for a first down. Another drop back here. Navarro quickly fires outside and connects with Rodney Harris to move the chains. Bobcats starting to drive until this. Navarro looking for Hendricks, going for it all in the end zone. Initially looks like he has it, but Eli Kopis takes it away at the last second for the INT. Now Miami on their best drive of the night so far. Daquan Finn scrambles out to his left and throws on the run and finds big target Cole Weaver for the first. Now 3rd and goal on the 1. Bobcats defense comes up huge, stuffing the run and forcing a field goal. 2-minute drill now for OU. Navarro finds C. Bangura over the middle to move the sticks. Then David Dellenbach boots one through to tie it at 3-3 going into half. OU goes on to win it 24-20. And according to tonight's sports poll, 60% of you caught a great game, while 40% of you missed out. Well, let's head east to Morgantown for West Virginia men's basketball season opener against Mount St. Mary's. Time to roll out the red carpet, as this is also the first time the men are playing in the newly branded Hope Coliseum. Brand new roster led by that man, Ross Hodge. Jasper Floyd would get West Virginia going early as he puts in his first points on his way to a 25-point day. And Floyd would have the first 5 for WVU with a 3-ball here, as they were up by 3 within the first couple of minutes. Now here's that defense, creating offense from Ross Hodges' team. Floyd with the steal and Lorient with the finish. 7-2 WVU leads. Mountaineers were down 17-16 with 9 to go in the first half, but DJ Thomas gets the lead back with this tough layup right there. And then here's the defense again. Brennan Lorient going to come up with the steal, the one-man fast break, and the flush. West Virginia will be up 21-19 with 7 to go in the first, and West Virginia would go on to win this one by a score of 70-54.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think everything's going to be a little bit of a work in progress. For a while, like all aspects. If you look at it, like not only offensively, we had a couple defensive breakdowns where we, gave up a layup just because we lost a guy, and then just getting comfortable. And it's probably not a super surprise, but the two guys that probably looked the most comfortable on the floor were the two guys that played for me and have been through, 40 of these, with me prior.
Phyllis, back to you.
Thank you, Griffin. When we come back, Jason has one. Let's look at the forecast.
We'll hover around the upper 30s to low 40s for the next couple of hours before the next warm front comes through, and that'll reverse our cooling trend and bring a pretty warm day tomorrow. 68 for the high, but plenty of wind, 10 to 20 miles an hour with gusts of up to 30 miles an hour. Then another cold front will come through, bringing us cooler weather for Thursday. That'll do it for weather. Back to you, Phyllis.
Thank you, Jason. That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great night.